Hey guys, what's going on? Thanks for swinging by. I really do appreciate it. If this is your first time with the channel, my name is Mark. Welcome to Fit and Fire. Let's get into this video. We're going to be talking about the Sig P320 M17 and why this is going to be my new service sidearm. In addition to that, we're going to be talking about some of the controversy behind this pistol, the things that I like, some personal preference issues, and then the things that I dislike about this video as well. And then finally, at the end, I'll be talking about who I would recommend this pistol for. So, before we get into all of that, let's talk about us. Can we do that? Can we talk about you and me for just a second? I just want to say thank you for clicking on this video. It means a lot to me. You didn't have to, but you did, and you're spending that time with me, and that means a lot. If you haven't already subscribed, I'd really ask you to consider subscribing. You can just hit that button down below and then click the bell icon right next to it to make sure that you get notifications of all the new stuff that's coming out as well. Comments are a big way to help push that algorithm. Thumbs ups is another great way. And then finally, the best way to help me kind of spread the word and support the channel as well is to share this video with your friends, regardless if that's on Facebook, Instagram, Twitters, anywhere else. You can text it to your friend, it doesn't matter, but sharing is really, really helpful because, say it with me folks, sharing is caring. Okay, let's get into this video. Again, we're going to be talking about the M17 from Sig, and this is a variation of the P320. Since the release of the P320, there has been a number of variations that Sig has released since then, and that actually kind of bodes very well when it comes to this pistol being a juggernaut in the market. We're going to talk about that here in just a little bit, but let's talk about the M17 program here real quick. The M17 program, or also the MHS program, is also known as the Modular Handgun System, was basically the DoD's attempt to replace the M9. It had been in service since 1985, and they wanted a new pistol to basically bring the military into the 21st century. They wanted a modular handgun that could do a number of different things, and there were a lot of great competitors in the trials phase. Those competitors include the M9A3, the CZ P07 and P09, the Glock 17 and Glock 19, which we know as the Glock 19X, the FN509, the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0, and a few others as well. Now, the P320 ended up winning the contract, and that automatically spurred a lot of controversy. Not only was Sig already embroiled in a lawsuit because of some safety concerns with the trigger mechanism, but after the military trials, Glock went ahead and sued the GAO, which is the government agency that oversees military contracts, and ended up losing that lawsuit as well. So Sig ended up walking away as the undisputed winner, I guess, if you could say it. But a lot of people didn't think that Sig won this trials fairly. If you guys are interested in a deep dive in the MHS program, I'd suggest you guys swing over and check out Small Arms Solutions. He has done a great job on his channel of doing deep dives, and not only the MHS, but also talking about the M4, the M16, the M14. He's done a lot of great deep dive videos on the different adoptions of rifles and pistols in the U.S. military. So by all means, swing by and check him out. Hopefully you guys got a link up here that you can click on as well and check him out. In addition to the controversy, they also had some fielding issues as well. The first iterations had issues with them feeding and ejecting properly. Sometimes they were ejecting multiple rounds after a spent casing. Eventually, Sig was able to get all of that figured out, but a lot of people really kind of pointed to those issues and said, yeah, see, the P320 should have never been adopted because of these issues. But a lot of them may not know or had a very short memory span when it came to the Beretta M9. When it was adopted in 1985, it had some fielding issues as well. Their slides were cracking or even splitting. There's been a case where a Navy SEAL was hit in the face by a slide that had split in half and had flown off the frame. So needless to say, the M9 and the P320 have both had their hiccups coming right out of the starting gate as well. One of the other things that a lot of people weren't too happy about was that Sig intentionally undercut all of the other competitors in the MHS program for the cost of the pistol. Sig actually may have taken a hit financially in ensuring that they got the military contract, but we're hoping that they would make up that money through part sales to the DoD on down the road, and then to schmucks like me who wanted to buy this on the civilian market as well, because this is actually one of the more expensive pistols of the entire lineup of MHS submissions. Yeah, so I just had to have one because it is what has been adopted. I have an M9, I haven't done a review on it yet, but I did want to get one of these and try them out anyway. So the big question is, why have I chose this as kind of my go-to sidearm for duty use, if you could say that? Well, a number of different reasons, but realistically, this is here to stay for quite some time. Not only is the military picking this pistol up, but a number of law enforcement agencies are picking this pistol up as well. In addition to that, the military has adopted the APC-9 for their submachine gun as well, and they have made a mod to accept the P320 magazines as well. So that means that there is going to be a lot of support with this pistol in and around the DoD and LEO sphere of influence. In addition to that, Sig has also offered a number of different variations to this pistol that is really kind of fostering and energizing the aftermarket as well. So there's going to be a lot of different frame options for this. Wilson Combat's already offering some of that type of stuff. There's going to be a number of different sights that are going to be offered, and just a whole bunch of different aspects that is going to be out there in the aftermarket for me to pick up should I want to modify this at all. Not to say that I would, but if I wanted to, there may be that option. And then additionally, it's not a Glock. And while I love Glocks and I would use a Glock for just about anything, this is not a Glock, and that's kind of something I've been looking to do, is kind of move away from Glocks a little bit and explore some of the other striker-fired pistols out on the market today. All right, so we're all drama queens and we want to know what is wrong with this pistol, so we're going to jump into that right now. The first thing that I've got to talk about is the fact that while this is fully ambidextrous, you're going to have your manual safety and your slide catch, slide release on either side of the pistol. The magazine release is able to be swapped to the right side of the pistol as well. But the biggest problem I have is with this control setup. While the manual safety is very intuitive to use and is right in the decent spot for your thumb, I honestly feel that the safety and the slide catch, slide release is too close to each other. I found myself fumbling with trying to get the slide to drop on a fresh magazine, and the manual safety impeding my thumb while I'm trying to drop that slide. Now, there's different ways that I can go about changing that. I can adapt myself with this pistol in the fact of maybe as I do a reload, I'm bringing my support thumb up and hitting that slide release, or I just cant the pistol. I have it here and I cant the pistol a little bit more. I can hit that slide release a little bit easier. But realistically, I don't want to do that because it's going to change certain aspects of how I use other pistols that I own as well. I like to keep my manual of arms about the same as much as I possibly can. The next thing that I'll say is the grip texture on this is a little underwhelming. I would have expected it to be a little bit more aggressive since it is a duty pistol, and surprisingly enough, the Taurus G3C's texture is more aggressive than this. So I was a little let down with that, but it's not uncomfortable. It feels good. It feels like it's going to hold in your hand very well, and no major complaints. It's just a little underwhelming. Finally, the rear sight is a bit of an enigma to me. It is huge. It is really, really big, and as you draw up and align your sights, that rear sight is really taking up a lot of your field of view. So I'm surprised they made it so large, but that may have been something to do with what the contract requested from pistols. I don't know, but this is actually fairly large. In addition to that, the optics cut that it has right here, in order for you to utilize that and place a red dot on this pistol, you're going to have to lose your rear sight, which has me scratching my head because Sig has other P320 options that the rear sight doesn't have to be removed. So I don't understand why they would do that. But again, it might have to do something with the contract. If you guys know, let me know down in the comment section down below, but I couldn't find anything as to why that is the case. Now, one of the biggest kind of nitpicky things that I will have to say about this pistol is the fact that the trigger on this is probably the most anticlimactic trigger that I've ever experienced. Not to say that it's bad, it's just that as you have your take up here, fairly short take up and it hits a nice solid wall, but then it's going to creep a little bit, and then as it finally breaks, it's just kind of meh. So I don't really understand that. The release on this, or the reset rather on this, is fairly good. It's tactile and audible, so that's not too bad. And then again, here's your trigger pull, and it's kind of meh. So I would say a Glock's trigger is actually a little bit better, even though Glocks aren't all that great, but it is a little bit underwhelming. Okay, so let's talk about the things that I really do like. Now, I've already talked about the controls on this, and while I'm not necessarily a big fan of how close these controls are together, I am a big fan of where they place this slide stop slide release. It's actually in a really, really good spot. And what do I mean by that is when you put your support hand up in a thumbs forward position, you're going to have it out of the way of your slide stop slide release. I really do like that. And I have a problem with my Glocks that as I put my my support hand up on a thumbs forward position, I have a tendency to go ahead and ride that slide stop slide release, and I may inadvertently drop the slide on an empty magazine. They had some really good forethought in designing this lever right here, and I really, really did like that. The ergonomics on this pistol is amazing. It's very intuitive. As you bring your sights to bear, they're almost aligned immediately. It has a very flat grip angle on this, very 1911, maybe Browning high power-esque, and it feels really good in the hand. The Glocks are a little bit more aggressive in their grip angle, causing you to kind of tilt your wrist down a little bit, but this feels really, really good, and that's another major reasons why I like this as my new service sidearm as well. Accuracy on this has been exceptional. With that 6.6-inch sight radius that they have on this pistol, it is really, really amazing. 8 inches overall length, 1.6 inches wide, and then 5.5 inches tall. So, you know, a fairly large pistol, but this larger pistol is going to give you a longer sight radius, which really helps with that accuracy, and then it has a really good barrel on it as well. Now, I did kind of complain about the rear sight, but I do like how they have the 3-dot setup for the front and rear sights. The rear sights are actually somewhat subdued, so while they're not completely subdued, they're not so intrusive in your line of sight that they're just kind of right in your face like a M&P 2.0 would be, or even Glocks. Those seem to be kind of in your face with your rear sight. So that's something I really did like as well. And then finally, the Coyote PVD coating that they have on the slide is something I really do like as well. I know a few people who are actually carrying this pistol as an EDC pistol, and the fact that they have this with them every single day, they're sweating over it and all of that jazz. They don't have to worry about any type of rust or corrosion because that PVD coating is going to help prevent all of that for a long period of time. And that was a major sticking point when it came to the military contract. They wanted to have a good coating to make sure that it was usable in all conditions, regardless if that's in the desert or use on a boat in the ocean, because salt water is very corrosive, so on and so forth. So that's another major reasons why I like this pistol as well. Now, finally, let's talk about who I would recommend this pistol for. And realistically, I'm going to say this isn't going to be a pistol that I would say should be used by someone brand new to pistols. The bore axis is going to be a little bit taller than what a lot of people might be used to, and it may be a little bit unwieldy for them. I would say people who have been around pistols for a while, or someone who's going to be serious about pistols for the near future, they're going to get training, they're going to train often and shoot a lot, this was going to be a really great option for them. Not only because of the ergonomics, but the fact that there's going to be a lot of aftermarket support. It's going to be around for a while because DoD picked it up and law enforcement agencies are picking up as well. That's the reason why I would recommend it to most people, but probably not newbies to the gun world. I would probably recommend something a little bit less expensive than this pistol and something a little bit more easy to manipulate or use. So that's kind of my take on it. And to be frankly honest with you, I've only got about 250 rounds through this, but I've had a great experience so far. No issues whatsoever, no failure to feeds, fire, or eject. Magazines have run flawlessly. It comes with a 17 round magazine that is flush fitting, and then it comes with 2 additional 21 round magazines as well. And let me tell you, those look really, really nice. I also have to say thanks to one of my Instagram followers. They actually ended up sending me 2 more magazines. So I have 4 21 rounders and then one of the 17 rounders as well. So thank you so much for that. It really means a lot that you're reaching out and supporting. If you guys are interested in sending me, I've got a PO box down in the description below. Feel free to send me an email or a DM on Instagram letting me know that something's on its way. That would be much appreciated, and I'll feature it in one of my videos depending on what it is. So with that being said, that is really going to cover it for the M17. I've, again, love this pistol. I've liked it a lot. A lot of controversy behind it, but I'm willing to look past it based off of what I've experienced with this one. I am going to be using it with a carbine course that I'm going to go through with Chris Costa here in March. So by the time I get done with that bit of training, I should have somewhere around 700 to 1,000 rounds through this. And I will do a follow-up video talking about my experience, not only with the pistol as a whole, but also through that course as well. So with that being said, I really do appreciate you guys swinging by. Patreon crew, you guys are crushing it. As always, I appreciate you guys. Freedom through strength. Here comes a high five. You guys take it easy. See you guys later. Bye.